Hi friends, thanks for joining me today to learn the details of another case. This case involves both abuse and murder of a senior, and it took the police 3 years for the family to finally be investigated for this terrible crime. Let me share the details because elder abuse matters. This case was submitted by email from a person who lives in the town where the abuse occurred. Dear Lolli, we experienced an odd case of elder abuse and murder in our town, and I thought your viewers might be interested in it. It's kind of convoluted with 3 abusers, but I'll try to explain it as best I can. In 2021, the search for a 75-year-old woman began when one of her sons died in a car accident. The son's friends wanted to notify his mother, but they couldn't locate her, so the police were contacted to investigate. They discovered that the senior woman's social security checks were still being deposited in her bank account, and so that's where they went to get the address. The home belonged to the other son, Gleason, who was aged 52, and who lived there with his wife and their son. Krista was the wife, the son was Glenn. Previously, Gleason's mother also lived with them there. Gleason told investigators what happened to his mother 3 years earlier in exchange for a plea deal for himself. Gleason admitted to shoving her to the ground during an argument that 3 years earlier because she had more than 25 cats living in her bedroom. This action left her bedridden for 2 months before she passed away, but it was his wife and son who were found to be responsible for her actual death. Gleason's son Glenn, age 22, who has limited mental capacity, admitted to pushing his grandmother to the floor and kicking her in the hip in her room and leaving her there. He told police when interviewed, "I killed her." Later, his mother, Krista, age 51, found the woman dead on the floor in a fetal position. Because her mother-in-law looked malnourished, Krista was afraid to contact authorities, thinking she may be in trouble for not caring properly for her. She decided to hide the body, and she had Glenn help her stuff the body into a closet in the woman's bedroom, where it remained for about 2 months. When the body began to stink, Glenn moved it outside to a shed in the backyard. But then Krista worried that as the smell worsened, her husband Gleason might discover it. So for some reason, they moved the body back into a crawl space under the house for a couple of weeks before Glenn then dragged it to the chicken yard behind the house. They had dug a hole in the yard and buried the body there. Apparently, Gleason was not told what happened or where his mother was for many months, and then he decided not to tell anyone, that is, until the police showed up at his door 3 years later. Krista and Glenn pleaded guilty to failure to report a death, and as part of a plea agreement, the prosecutors dismissed an abuse and neglect of a vulnerable adult charge. They were each sentenced to 3 years in prison, plus up to 7 more years that would be determined at that time by the courts, for a total of possibly 10 years each. Gleason was initially charged with neglect and abuse of a senior, but because he had struck a deal with the prosecutors, he only faced a misdemeanor charge, and he was sentenced to 4 days in jail, plus 1 year of probation and 50 hours of community service. This case of abuse escalated to murder and eventually rocked our small town. I hope we never experience anything like this again. Well, friends, I must say it's incredible to me that a woman would involve her son, who has limited mental capacity, in such a heinous crime. Why would she think hiding a body from authorities would be less serious than a senior neglect charge? And why would Gleason, when he found out about his own mother's demise, not do something? We were hoping that no one would ever find out, was perhaps their thinking. Did they want the Social Security money that bad? So many questions run through my mind in this case, and so much hurt to another senior. What do you think of this case, friends? Should there have been a murder charge added to the failure to report a death charge? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And let's hope that no small town has to endure a trial like this ever again, because elder abuse matters. Friends, although we're not counselors or therapists, our goal here is to share abuse cases so that you'll know you are not alone if you're suffering from elder abuse. We hope that it's therapeutic to hear other stories, and it may also be helpful to anonymously share your own story of abuse on this channel and help others. Just check the show notes below to find out how. And finally, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel now so that together we can reduce the abuse, because elder abuse matters. Please stay safe, seek help, and know that I'm praying for you.